Alrighty.
We're here.
I thought I accidentally streamed a guy Boston, but I took it off the list, so we're good. Birkin is firing.
Birkin's ready.
Birkin is not happy. I
I'm
said it
also not
before.
thrilled.
A habit of downplaying to inferior competition will always have catastrophic consequences. I even did that as a player. It's mental. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I feel like as much as it is a Celtics thing, you see a lot of good teams fall into that trap. I mean, the Bucks faltered against the Raptors last night. The Bucks have been scrambling a little. Obviously, the Nets have won X amount of games in a row, but before that, they were struggling. The Heat are
They
500 this
haven't.
team.
They've lost one in a row.
Oh, the Nets lost? Did they? Oh, Sam's frozen. He's gonna have a joyful time. What the Nets? Oh, they lost the Bulls. Yeah, okay. So they finally did lose.
The Bulls are
but
hilarious.
yeah,
They're like 6-1 against like the top 3 teams in the East. It's disgusting.
Which
They've
is like
beaten
the
Cavs,
opposite.
the Bucks. Yeah, I know exactly. It's so
year.
weird. It's so weird.
It's wild. But yeah, the Celtics obviously lost to the Thunder last time out. It was not good. Probably their worst game of the season. And I'll take away the probably. It was their worst game of the season. That was horrendous. They let the Thunder, without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, score a franchise record 150 points. Holy crap, I was watching Vitamin C's when this blasted off of my face. Well, welcome in, fist bumps. That was the worst performance they put up all season. I think I started watching my TV show in the fourth quarter instead of watching the rest of the game.
Oh, I left. I got up and went to bed.
Yeah.
That was enough of that.
It got to a certain point where I was like, all right, well, I'll get like set up for post game, but I'm gonna like start playing some Call of Duty, and like that's gonna be it.
Yeah, it got to the point where like it progressively got more and more ridiculous. Like the shots that were going in on the other way was just like ridiculous. 3 after 3 after
Jack
3
needs
after
zinc.
3.
He needs his zinc.
I have something.
Is that your medical bag? Your first aid kit?
These are
big old bag of drugs.
I do have some drugs that I need to take.
I need drugs.
It's actually vitamin C, which is very funny. But
Jack's career goes in the toilet after he takes drugs live on stream.
Yeah. Let me take some too. So we got a Facebook like. That's a new thing to see in the top left. Thank you, Michael. Absolute legend. As I take my vitamin C, pun intended. Thunder was ugly. Obviously, the Thunder scored. 5 players scored at least 20 points. It was the first team, to give up 5 different players scoring 20 plus since the Thunder in 2019, which is ironic because it was, I can't even remember who the players were, but it was not players that you should be letting score 20. Andrew dropping some more medicine in the chat. Thank you. Smart getting ejected. Yeah, the ejection was bad. I guess he's allowed 1 blow-up game. He's been pretty calm all season, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass. I know Jimmy J, you won't, but I will. But yeah, it was just an ugly game all around.
There's certain refs that are really trigger happy with technicals, and I'm sure that you guys have noticed this. Holdcamp is very trigger happy with technicals. She gives out technicals like people give out candy. It's like a Christmas swap. She
tends to be a little sensitive out there. We've seen it so far this season. It does not particularly get along well with the Celtics team. Joe Mazzulla's wife has tweeted complaining about her in the past.
Really?
Yeah, she said...
I'm glad it's not just me, then.
Jack, have you seen this? She tweeted saying, stop putting her on our games.
Yeah.
And this was before Wednesday or Tuesday. Got my
question.
Smart.
Sorry, medicine question for the chat here.
Okay.
It says, chew 3 gummies daily. I just got it tonight. Does that mean intermittently, or can I take 3 right now?
You could take 3. I've done that. I've taken 3 at once. Yeah. I used that stuff when I was sick with COVID.
Thank you, Jack. Anyways,
it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you just got to start crushing Dayquils. I think I still got some of my
See, when you say crushing Dayquils, it makes it sound like you're just gonna like start crushing them up. But I'm like, no, they're liquid capsules. You can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I got my Dayquil too.
Yeah. See, Jack knows you take the pills, you don't drink it. The famous Spino is not a fan of drinking the Dayquil. He thinks it tastes horrible.
I don't think it tastes good, but it works better that way, I think, in my opinion.
Fun fact, I was crushing the Dayquils when I was doing TV there towards the end when I was real sick that day. And that was the day I wished the ambulance good luck. So
that was
take that as you will. Tim is horrified.
I'm just so confused.
Dennis. Landon says no. I apologize if it is. Maybe just refresh. But not sure. Let's see. Yeah, Thunder game was ugly. Jimmy J saying everyone but the Jays have been bad, but they haven't made others better. What can change? I think the Jays were also bad on what was it? Tuesday night. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jaylen scored efficiently, which was good. He was like the only player who could score efficiently, and he's been doing that all season. He's been making tough shots. But I mean, defensively, no one played well. Jaylen Brown was bad defensively. Jayson Tatum was bad defensively. Malcolm Brogdon, Derek, like everybody. I just wrote an article about how great Derek White was, and even he was getting bullied. Excuse me, on the defensive end a little bit. It was just an ugly defensive night for the entire Celtics. I'm gonna say this. We're recording a podcast later, but like the offense was rough, but as Sam always says, you can control how hard you play on defense. You can't always control if the shots fall. So like that's where you got to start. So I have a much bigger problem with the defense than I had with the offense.
You have to agree with that one. Like you said it, like I said it, which is perfectly. You really have to control what you can control when you're playing poorly or you're shooting poorly. You can't control if the ball's going to go in the basket every time you shoot it. You can't control if you try on defense and if you play hard. They did not play hard on Tuesday night in Oklahoma City. Malcolm Brogdon begrudgingly said that they did not really care about that game once they found out SGA was going to be out.
Yeah.
And it showed. OKC got numerous looks at the rim, which turned into numerous wide open looks from three. And they made the Celtics pay on those shots. You don't lose a game because you scored 117 points. You do lose a game when you give up 150 points. That is not something that's going to win you basketball games. So you have to work and play better on the defensive end, or it's just not going to get better for you. When you're slumping, you have to rely on your defense. That's how you become a great team. That's why you went to the finals last year, was because of your defense, not because you were a record-setting offense. The record-setting offenses that were predecessors to this year's Celtics team only went so far. It was like the Jazz last year and the Nets 2 years ago, who neither one of them made it past the second round. So the defense is really the impressive thing. When you're playing defense, which despite the poor play throughout December, they were the second best defense in the NBA. So that's progress.
Yeah.
You need to do that to win.
I think the issue that I see is with the Jays specifically. Like, I think they're scoring overall, like, it hasn't been bad. Tatum's shooting hasn't been great, but the assist numbers aren't looking great right now. I think one thing that Jaylen does specifically is he's like an absolute like flamethrower on offense, but he's not creating for other people. And I'm not saying that he necessarily needs to, but the issue is when other players aren't hitting their shots and the Celtics are trying to, get some playmaking, they're trying to move the ball around, they're trying to get to other people, defenses aren't respecting that. And now when the Celtics get into these holes where they're like, well, we can take threes and like that'll be fine, like we'll be able to dig ourselves out of these holes if we hit our shots, and then you don't hit your shots and then you're not playing defense, so the whole thing just compounds on itself. And it's just like, get back to what you did last year, because that's what it ultimately is, right? Like your defense can help create offense, and if you're not dedicated to playing it at that level, then you're dooming yourself. We've seen this happen before. So like, just, I don't know if it's Joe asserting himself and saying, hey, we need to be active on defense. You guys need to get your collective crap together. Or I don't know, like something's got to change there. And like, I don't think it's like one individual person. Like, I think it is the whole, like like these players struggling right now, people struggling, that is a symptom of a larger issue.
Well, you saw it last week when they beat the Clippers. The defense won them that game at the end. They struggled in the second half, and they didn't really shoot that well throughout the game. And there was a period where LA was hitting everything, but when it came to down the stretch, they started trying to milk the clock, and they were able to save themselves on the defensive end, 2 block shots at the rim towards the end to seal it. Those are the kind of games that people get pumped up about. You saw people tweeting about it, talking about it. Kendrick Perkins said that was a monster win. He had tweeted about it last week. I forget who the other person was that was of note that mentioned it, but people were really impressed by that win because of the defense. They need to get back to that. Tim and I have harped on it enough. Jack, what do you think about that? Or what do you have next?
I agree, and I think a big thing that you saw in December obviously was Jimmy J. Everyone's saying in the chat like Rob was out against, and I'm not saying they need to bank on Rob or that they should be banking on Rob to play their defense, because they need to be good without Rob. But he is obviously a big part of that. If they get blown by on the perimeter, he'll be there to clean things up. So I think having him back tonight, excuse me, against the Mavericks should definitely help a ton. Hello. Hello, Dad. But they can't depend on that. They need to lock up on their perimeter a bit better, et cetera, et cetera. And we got Vonleh in the chat. Yes, Luis. Also, hello for joining us. Vonleh did get traded. I have it in the chat here. I'll paste it for you. The Shams report from earlier today. And like Landon said, I believe vitamin C is on it. Came out today, correct? Yes.
Yeah,
so.
we dropped a take on everything that happened with Vonleh. But yeah. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off if you're flowing.
I love
this.
Wait, no. You gotta pull up one of the other ones because that one got cut off.
Versus sour.
No, yes. Shams reported early today. Celtics trade Vonleh to the Spurs, Vonleh and cash considerations to the Spurs for nothing.
Thank you.
Effectively.
Oh, see, I thought they got cash considerations.
No.
No,
they gave up cash considerations, a small amount compared to what they're going to save on the tax with that move.
Yep. But as Jimmy J said, I tweeted about this. The Celtics, up until last year, they had not made a single trade with the Spurs, and in the last calendar year, they've made 3. So there's the Brad Stevens effect for you. Excuse me. Jimmy J saying a second rounder. I doubt it. I don't think the Celtics will anything back. They'll probably get less cash consideration. They probably gave them They probably gave the Spurs $100,000 and got back $100, something like that, in the trade. This was purely to give up
They already waived them, like
yeah,
like that.
Vonleh's already gone. Birkin and other people saying who can we get? Hoping for Hachimura. I would assume nobody. I don't think the Celtics will make a trade. Probably not. If they do get somebody into that trade exception, I know I wrote something today about Otto Porter. I assume it would be a veteran on a team that's probably not going to contend, that's just looking to get something back for an asset. And I don't think Hachimura is that. I think if Hachimura does get traded, he goes in some bigger deal for assets that will help the Wizards win, because that is what they kind of hope to do with Bradley Beal, which is weird. Jimmy is saying, how can it be a trade? They probably got
addresses it.
It was a conditional pick that won't convey.
Yeah,
or it's just absorbing into a trade exception. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
Oh, they said second rounder that won't convey.
Apparently, I didn't see that, but
to circle back
either.
Yeah. Otto Porter, by the way, who has been out since November 15th with a toe problem, dislocated toe, and Monday, the other day, maybe whatever day it was, Nick Nurse said he has not made much progress. So, as fun as that sounds,
never mind.
It doesn't seem as likely.
But
I read your thing today, Jack, and I was all about it. I mean, we have talked about that many a time, but I looked, and it doesn't seem like he's coming back anytime soon. So that might be one that is off the
Raps
table.
Are reportedly, at least in terms of rumors, open for trade business. So
where'd you see that?
I saw it in like an NBA Central tweet like an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago.
Fair enough.
Take that with the biggest grain of salt, but I think that would make sense. It would line up with a couple different things.
Mm-hmm. But fair enough.
We've got Michael
to get something done
in our chat asking who's going to cover Luka tonight. He says he's assuming super switch effort from Boston, which is probably what you're going to see. That's usually how it works for them.
But
I think last time, who was it? Jaylen Brown, maybe Tatum that covered him. Both those guys are able defenders, even though they haven't really put in the effort, specifically Brown this season. But Marcus Smart, still your defensive player of the year, at least until the season's over. And pretty much everyone in your starting lineup is a versatile defender. So you can see them switch and get away with that tonight. That's probably what it's going to be, right, fellas?
I would agree. I think so. I mean, I don't think you can double him because the same reason you can't double Jokic. If you double Luka, he'll just find an open pass. Maybe that's your strategy. You let Reggie Bullock shoot. You let Christian Wood score, and you try to contain Luka. But even then, I don't think you'll be able to contain him at all. So
I think you'll see a little bit of digging, maybe. But I don't think they're going to do full blown like double teams. It's just a bad idea. It didn't work. It certainly did not work against Jokic. And I don't think that the team around Luka is anywhere near as good as what the Nuggets have, but you still have to respect their shooters. Like, you can't take that kind of risk.
They're learning that the hard way. All these guys all of a sudden know how to shoot against the Celtics. I was doing some research today. I sent it to Jack for our upcoming Celtics Jeopardy with some guests of note and putting together a potential category in Celtics killers. And Trey Mann finds himself 6th all time in points per game against the Celtics after just 2 games. So there you go.
Love it.
I thought you were going to say that he ended up 6th all time on the rat list. And I was like, wow,
No.
he's climbing the ranks so fast.
No.
There you go. Let's see. I just hate TPEs. Louis not a fan of them. Birkin
Me
saying,
too.
is Isaac's possible at all? If you're talking about Jonathan Isaac, I would say
Do not
no.
touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No chance, especially
No.
Well, he's not
probably...
playing a ton of basketball either.
He's not
No.
he's not playing at all. That's the thing.
No.
Poor guy got an injury and then, went off the freaking reservation in terms of whole bunch of conspiracy stuff, like super religious. Avoid it.
He is the next best thing to Ennis Freedom at this point.
I thought you were going to say Kai.
Well, that could have worked as well. Let's see. Wick hoping, I'm assuming, to spend money on something better. Potentially, yes. Will money be spent, or does Wick think this isn't a championship team? I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think Noah Vonleh versus Noah Vonleh is the difference.
Now that Noah Vonleh is gone, whatever will they do?
Well, I think he's talking about...
That is a white flag if I've ever seen it.
I think he's just talking about tax dollars, right? The way that I looked at it was this, like, it was a guy who wasn't breaking the rotation. He's not going to give you anything that you couldn't find off the street at this point. Like, he got beat out by Blake Griffin and Luke Cornett for a rotational spot. And it's not like he didn't get a chance at the beginning of the year before they signed Blake. So it's just a matter of taxes. His salary would have gotten fully guaranteed this weekend. So by sending over with the cash considerations, they save a ton on the luxury tax. It opens up a salary or a roster spot rather, saves a little bit of salary. I also think that there's a chance that Josh Jackson gets sent, because that's like the next shoe to drop before he gets.
You mean Justin Jackson?
Justin Jackson.
Yes.
So Josh
also
very different.
Also, Jimmy J. I'll put it this way: if I am collecting a bunch of stuff and I have this thing on the very end that doesn't mean anything to me, like say I'm collecting, I don't know, vintage trading cards, and I've got this Michael Jordan, I've got a LeBron James, and on the side I've got a third year, let's say, who do I want to put this on? Timofey Mozgov card at the end of the bench. I'm fine cutting that to save a few bucks. I'll put it that way. No offense to Noah Vonleh, but in terms of the championship team, if Wick can save $7 million on Noah Vonleh, especially when there are probably equally as good options out there on the open market, I'm fine with him doing that. One injury changes things. Again, Noah Vonleh is not
on the team.
That's why Cornette's, Blake Griffin, Robert Williams, Al Horford, Grant Williams. Like I said, Noah Vonleh is not going to be the difference between a championship team. So if Wick wants to save $7 million in taxes by waiving Noah Vonleh halfway through the season, I'm not going to bust his balls for it. He can do that all he wants. Hello, Phil. Hello, Landon. Fist bumps in the chat. And like Landon says, Jackson will probably be gone too. I can only assume. So we will see. And plus, it's not like they don't have Fiondu Kabengele off the bench too. So and Birkin saying hopefully Gallinari can make it back.
Oh man, dude, I wish, but age, it's the same knee that he had the tear in before. It's a pipe dream. I appreciate it, but yeah, he's the human victory cigar.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody loves a local story like me, let me tell you, and I don't care. So
this is a
let that be
Luke the puke. I mean,
I don't know what Luke did to you. Luke's been pretty good this year.
He was really bad in that Thunder game. I don't know why.
Who wasn't?
The Thunder game.
Okay, but hear me out.
I want mean nicknames for everybody on the team after that game.
I just want to humor me here. What exactly was the defensive plan when they switched Luke Cornett onto Josh Giddey behind the 3-point arc, and Cornette's backing off of him because that Cornett can't come up and defend that because then he's just gonna get blown right by, and so he's just sitting there waiting for him to take the three so he can make a late contest. Giddey hit 3 or 4 straight shots over Cornett, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? What's the freaking plan here?
I mean,
oh my god.
No one else was staying in front of him, so maybe that was someone.
But that's
getting
the
mad.
problem, right? If
Stop
Cornett's your
Jack
third
what?
Option.
Luke Cornett has genuinely been good this season. I don't know.
He's been serviceable.
I think he's
I don't want to
good.
say good. I don't want to say
I will
good.
say good.
I think he's good as a third big guy.
Yeah, that's
He's not
he is.
starting for anybody, but he's been absolutely fine in what they've asked of him.
Yeah,
He's
I think
shot a
been doing
career
this well.
high from the field. He's been super efficient. He's really filled the Rob role off the bench well. There really isn't much more you could ask from the guy to fill that current role.
I think he's been really good as a third big man. That's my opinion, but I think he's done everything they could have asked for him from him.
Agree. Felt the same way about Tice, and people get on Tice too.
I'll put it this way: I thought
Tice was a lot better as a third option.
Really,
much better. I thought he was much better as a third.
I was a big Tice fan.
He's not $8 million better.
But that's what it comes down to, right? It's nickels and dimes at that point. That for what you're paying Kornet, not bad. I'm just thinking that there might be better options out there.
See, that's my thing. I don't think there's better options out there for what you can get on the open market for that price, especially. Like I
don't know
Luke
about free agent, but maybe for a trade, like a smaller trade, I think there's definitely a possibility.
At that point, though, I don't know if it's worth it. I'd rather them trade for like a wing. Like I'll put it this way: like free agents, I'd rather have Kornet over Whiteside, over Boogie Cousins, over Dwight Howard, over LaMarcus Aldridge. Like pretty handedly.
I agree with those.
I think the only one that I might push back on maybe is Whiteside. The rest, that's pretty fair. I think just because the rebounding, I just don't know if it really either way. Like it's not going to be a world ender at your third center spot. It's just that I think that they could do better just by trying to pick the bones of some other team or something. Just get a third big, someone that you can lean on a little bit more. Switchability is a concern for me, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find a contest. I don't think you'll find a switchable big anywhere else, though. Like we're talking about finding a switchable big for a minimum on a team that's willing to trade it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think
I didn't say minimum.
Okay, well, even like what most you can trade for is $5 million, right? Like I don't know, like if you'll be able to find that.
The Juancho TP is a little bit bigger than that.
Or 7 almost, I guess.
Almost
but
7.
Still,
that's not bad.
Phil, no, it's not boogie time, please.
Not yet. No, not yet.
He was not yet.
I go not yet because I hope that there's a better option. Not
if your solution, if the solution to Kornet is a 33 to 35-year-old big man past his prime by fucking 7 years, then I don't think that's a real solution. And I'm not calling you out, Phil. I'm just saying in general. I'm not a fan of the old sign Dwight. No, I literally said not a fan of the sign
not Dwight. Not Dwight. There's a reason why he's overseas, okay?
Dwight's on a reality television show.
Taiwan.
He's on reality TV. No. And please, Luke Kornet could clear Taco Fall on any given day. Like, we're not doing this. Excuse me. Let's see. Catching up on the chat now. I can drop the Mavs starting 5 in the chat because I did get that. Excuse me while we were talking. Let's see here. This is who the Mavs are rolling out tonight as their starting 5. Let's see. Doncic, Dinwiddie, THJ, Bullock, Wood. There's that. Jimmy J saying Dwight can get 10 plus rebounds. I will have to handily disagree with you on that one. Let's check Dwight Howard's stats.
Jack's gonna get angry. While Jack looks that up, I'll do this one nice and quick. Pick of the night presented by Smash the Odds. At Smash Odds on Twitter. Follow them for daily free picks on Twitter. Subscribe for the premium picks for the premium payday. Christian Wood under 18.5 points tonight is the pick from them. My pick is consistent. Rob over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That pick has not missed yet since I started giving it. And Jack can either give his pick or go right back to Dwight Howard.
My pick's going to be the same thing. I'll go with either D. White or Grant Williams plus 1.5 threes. It's going to be my pick all season long. I'll take Robert Williams rebounds too. I don't know what the line is, but I'll take that, especially against the Mavericks team, who is probably not great at rebounding. Put it that way.
Rob
Jimmy J saying,
for those wondering, where is it hidden? 6.5.
Yeah, that's around what it is. Jimmy J saying Dwight was decent in LA and Philly last time I saw him. He played for Philly 2 years ago, and he played for LA when he was good in LA 3 years ago. Last year in LA, he fell out of the rotation on the Lakers team that didn't even make the playoffs.
There's a reason these guys aren't on teams.
Yeah.
People forget. They see a name and they get excited, but there's truly a reason why guys aren't playing.
He's in Dwight Howard on a contract. He's not going to leave that.
Yeah, Dwight Howard averaged 6 rebounds in 16 minutes last year, and if your solution is to play Dwight Howard 16 minutes a game, then Celtics are not going to be a championship team.
Look, you can't convince me on Dwight. That is one you're not going to be able to convince me on. It just
that
is interesting. No, I think that's actually I would probably roll with that bet because he's due for a bounce back, and if he's going to do it against anybody, he's going to do it against Luka.
That bet is -154, so you're getting
not great odds.
Not the best payday if it hits.
Yeah.
I tend to agree, Luis.
If we want to look at, excuse me, sorry, I got the hiccups. Potential TPE guys. I mean, again, I don't think the Celtics will end up doing anything. I think this is more for a buyout market thing. If you want to think of potential buyout market players, like even that, I might struggle to think of potential guys. Like I'll look at the standings here and think of potential teams with older players, like maybe the Magic buyout Terrence Ross, but he seems pretty happy there, so I doubt that happens. Maybe the Hornets buyout Kelly Oubre, but I have to assume they'd find a trade spot for him first.
He's having a surgery.
But after that, maybe. Maybe Washington buys out a guy, Will Barton, if they wanted to stop playing him. Maybe they buy him out for his $14 million. Maybe the Bulls buy out Javonte Green by the end of the year. That could be interesting. But at that point, I would just trade a second for him if I'm the Celtics. I think that's
don't risk it. Yeah, don't risk it. Just get him back.
I like him. Mm-hmm. Maybe Josh Richardson gets bought out. That'd be interesting.
I sure would like that.
I would love that.
Big fan of that man. Never wanted to see him go.
Again, though, I feel like he'd get traded first. Houston, I feel like Eric Gordon is going to get traded. If anything.
He's due. He's been there for too long. It's been years and years and years of us saying, when is he going to not be on that team anymore? And here we are, and he's still there.
Maybe Kendrick Nunn gets bought out if the Lakers want to make a bigger deal and he's not involved. Jimmy J Rich. I would love J Rich back. I don't know how realistic it is, but that'd definitely be fun. love Josh Richardson. Great guy, great player. As far as potential TPE guys, I'm looking down the salary books here, thinking of realistic potential guys to trade for. Kem Birch, if you want to back up big man from Toronto, I guess. But again, at that point for the salary, how much better is he than Luke Cornett? He's definitely not a switchable guy either. So
what's the money on him?
6 point where'd he go?
For how long too?
6.6 this year, 6.9 next year.
Oh yeah, no, you're better off spending that somewhere else, I think.
Yeah,
Cornett's fine, dude.
I think so too. There's Patty Mills. If the Nets want to trade him for something random, 6.4 this year, 6.8 next year. There is Justin Holiday in Atlanta. If they want to get rid of him, 6.2 this year, and then he's up. Rudy Gay, but I don't love that either because he's got a player option next year. Otto Porter, like I said, but he's got a player option next year. PJ Washington, if the Hornets want to sell, but that's going to be a 1-year rental for sure because the Celtics definitely won't be able to pay him. After that, Kendrick Nunn, Corey Joseph, Torrey Craig, but I feel like he's too big of a part of the Suns' rotation.
Streets were saying Carmelo is out there today. Thoughts on that? Our boy Cam Tabatabai was big on that today on Twitter. That Carmelo is out there. There is an open roster spot, and the Celtics are struggling with shooting off the bench. This was a big discussion before the season started. It started, Hauser started playing well, so it kind of died out. He's no longer playing super well. Might be finding his footing. We kind of saw a little bit of promise there over the last week, but he hasn't really been great. Only 28% from 3 over December. So there are people that are interested in that. I'm not saying I'm one of them, but
I wouldn't hate it. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I wouldn't hate it. But
that is the most you've liked anything today.
Yeah. I assume Kemba's playing tonight. I don't think he's on the injury report.
Kemba was on this team.
He did meet up with JB before the game. I did see a photo of that.
Mello?
Catching it. No, God, no.
Oh, Kemba.
Kemba. No. If that happened after it would have been trending. Like everyone be like shitting a brick over it.
Kemba is active.
I don't know if we addressed this, by the way, but I think you're talking about Norman Powell.
How about the kids from Clippers who was in Portland?
Powell?
Yeah, Norman Powell, I think.
I
think it's too expensive. That's your answer.
He's expensive because he did sign like a new deal. He was in Portland, then he got traded to Toronto, and then he went from Toronto.
No, flip that. He got traded to Portland for Gary Trent.
Toronto. Yeah.
From Toronto, and then he was flipped.
Yes.
Outside of Norm Powell, I don't know if there's another guy you're mentioning. I don't know who else it would be. Like, yeah, I think that's all got to be it. I mean, Covington's also there. He went from Portland to LA, but I think that's it. He says it's not Powell. Covington, maybe. I don't know if you're thinking of Rob
could be
Covington.
Rocco. Rocco
He
would be a
makes a
good
bit too
fit.
money though, so they'd probably
Yeah.
have to trade like a Pritchard, Cornette, Gallinari, and other stuff. So that at that point it's a meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, game is probably going to start very quickly because it is a TNT game and they start on time.
Yes.
So we're gonna get on out of here. Defense kid who ain't playing in LA. I'm sorry, I don't know who you're talking about.
All right, now I need to pull up the roster just to determine.
He said Covington.
Oh, Justice. Oh, Covington. Yeah.
It is Rocco.
He makes a bit too much money, so I don't think that would be a possible thing. I thought you were talking about Justice Winslow for a sec, but anyways, we're probably going to start soon. Yeah, with the game. I want to get you guys out of here in time to watch it, so I'll cut us loose. Anything you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Pod tomorrow. Pod
will be out tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So check that out on the channel. We appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Hey, we had this
Pod will drop at
too.
5 a.m. What's up? What are you looking for? Will PP
You
get
keep
traded?
talking.
We'll talk about this in the pod later, Jimmy J. So you'll see that in the morning. I don't think so, but spoiler alert, we'll break it down. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check us all out on Twitter. That's below our faces.
I
check out
found
the
it.
vitamin C's. Yes. We said that earlier. Dropped the
Cheers.
thing on Vonley, so check that out. We appreciate it. Rat List merch. I told you, Landon, if you can, once we get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, I will give you Rat List merch. I said that. Fist bumps, my dad in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Podcast drops tomorrow. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and Facebook. How about them C's? How about them Celtics podcast? We are live 30 minutes for every Celtics game. We will see you guys for the next one. Peace out.
Cheers.